credit where credit is due. He took it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And they're going to be taking it into this draft because it is coming up, guys. Back on topic. We are so good at getting sidetracked. We're having too much fun here. And
I blame you for that.
Oh.
Oracle in 2016. Hey,
was Oracle really the problem though?
I think that was actually something I want to touch on too. Is like it wasn't like a clear outdraft at all. Like I didn't think at least in this game. Maybe like slightly favored toward Finem, but the way that they played the game was just incredible. The way that they just made the moves, made the space for the morphling.
Distractions.
I think that
a very good
NewBee has
examples of that. They
to look at that game and just try to make up with what they still go for it. But it's later on.
One thing I would like to add is they didn't have like the lockdown. I'm not so sure about their heroes are not very good at killing morphling. I mean, they have a couple of stuns. They have the Dragon Knight stun, Ogre stun, the Sanking stun, but Lincolns are really good against all those stuns. You can block them. And you don't have like a dead counter like a Disruptor. A Disruptor would be a very good solution towards the Morphling. So the Morphling was just a great last pick there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned earlier that you might have Spirit Breaker instead of the Bounty Hunter, Winter?
No, I mean Spirit Breaker could be used to deal with the Bounty.
Oh, the other way around. I was going to say,
Because you can track him down.
Yeah. In that case as well, if the Bounty Hunter does get banned.
The other way of playing around like against Bounty,
they banned it.
They don't have to play against Bounty.
First phase ban even.
Hey. That's straight up respect.
Yeah, that is definitely.
Shadow Demon.
Does mean that Shadow Demon makes it through and Finem has first pick, so.
I think this is the approach that most teams, at least what we saw in the Boston major qualifiers for Europe, they were banning the Wisp Bounty Hunter versus Finem. So this is like going back a little bit to there, just recognizing the strength of Finem with those two.
But isn't it interesting that what was initially banned, which was Shadow Demon by NewBee, has now been given to Finem? It's almost like they planned it all along. Have a good bounty game, and then you get given SD.
But they do have like a solid opening right now in response to the Shadow Demon. Luna, as expected, you don't want to give away those two heroes on the same team, and they have the Bat Rider on their side, so their laning phase is going to be very, very good and very solid. It's going to be up to Finem whether if they're going to run the same thing. If they want to run like the Roamer, I'm not sure if it's going to be very successful this game. Like you could technically say Riki can be a replacement to Bounty if you want to play that way, but it's not as good.
Not for MNT though. Yeah. They really like playing with that like whole track mentality.
The track, because of the kills, you can trade kills very well.
It's the Nyx Assassin instead.
The bat counter.
Bat counter, yeah.
Yeah, it is Skylark's hero too, I believe. Right?
We might see like a Silencer just to deal with that. I know NewBee, they like to pick Silencer as one of their primary supports. As Bat Rider, that's one of your go-to partners if you are up against a Nyx, if you're up against like Oracle, the bench, all these spells to deal with the lasso. Very good way of complementing the Bat Rider. So we might see that from NewBee this game. It's good against the Shadow Demon Disrupt as well.
More respect coming out with banning out Madara Morphling indeed, and a possible Thug Sniper.
Yeah, it's a
strong Shadow Demon combo as well.
It's a pretty good combo with Shadow Demon.
And OD is still in the pool. That might be something that NewBee is looking to, as Sniper is considered a little bit of a counter.
Still Alchemist too. Alchemist is also good with Shadow Demon. I'm not sure if Finem favors that kind of play style here.
Thug likes to play it. He does like to play it, but it definitely changes your way you play and approach the game.
You can't really do 4 Protect 1 if you actually do Alchemist.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. Because with the Nyx, they could still go down the 4 Protect 1 route, have 2 cores that make space, and go for a really big hero for Madara once again, if they want to stick to that playstyle, what works for them.
So we focus a lot on Finem and what they need to do, but NewBee just lost the game. Sure, they pay respect by banning out the Morphling and the Bounty Hunter. What do they need to do? What went wrong that they can easily fix this game in just draft-wise?
Draft-wise, I think their heroes last game, they got like pretty much a very difficult last pick from Finem, and they didn't really have super good lanes, I think, in my opinion. They had a Sanking Ogre lane, but that's about it. The other 2 lanes weren't really very good. Like the Slug plus Oracle lane is really good against the Bat Rider, but they aren't able to totally shut out the Bat Rider from getting farm. Like he was able to get farm and levels, and allowed the Bounty to he roam over, and they were able to get kills and put pressure.
Finem focusing a little bit more on the supports since they revealed a bit of a card from NewBees. They haven't drafted either of theirs, so they ban out the Rubik, the Ogre, just massive compliments to the Luna and the Bat Rider even. Bloodlust is quite good on both of them.
Yep, it's a pretty scary lane though. Ogre plus the Bat Rider. If you don't have the correct lane to deal with that kind of pressure, you're going to struggle. That lane is very hard to deal with.
So what heroes remain for Faith and Kaka that they might pick
I still think the Silencer is great for them. Silencer would deal with the Shadow Demon and the Nyx and complements the Bat Rider. It's a very good range support for the Luna.
Bye-bye Magi.
Oh, it's a Warlock
That's another
coming back.
old, like not old school, but like a thing that we saw coming up when the Shadow Demon was so popular. Warlock always very good versus it.
That was I
With
think
the Fatal Bond.
what PPD mentioned. He said that Warlock counters Shadow Demon because you are able to use the Fatal Bonds on the illusions, and that's the first thing. And the second thing is in team fights, you kind of have the rock to stop the Shadow Demon because he's going to be hiding around the back line. He's going to try to disrupt the target that you're focusing, and having the huge AoE stun is going to be able to stop him from doing that.
Multiple forms of initiation
good lanes as well.
and Fatal Bonds with Luna
Yep.
for later on stages.
Oh, there we go. The Alchemist.
The Alchemist,
So yeah, they go for the
you
Alchemist.
This is not for Protect 1 anymore, but it's a good hero, like overall, to deal with what NewBee has. So you use the acid to slow down their heroes, because especially when you have the Warlock Luna draft, you want to have the opportunity to always constantly use your ultimates to push towers to fight the enemy. And with the Alchemist, it's like a hero that drags and slows down the game, and it makes you keep that ultimate in your pocket, and you can't do it because the lane's always pushed up.
Does that mean that NewBee should try to speed up their prime time of their draft? Or are they okay going late game against an Alchemist? I mean, with their
You
last
generally
picks.
don't want to go late game against Alchemist unless you can play Meepo. Like Meepo is a pretty good hero against Alchemist, but apart from that, there are not many heroes that are, or anti-mage, like there are not many heroes that can actually deal with Alchemist late game because he farms way too quickly. He comes online way faster than your core.
So is there a hero for SCCC that they could still pick to go early? To go aggressive early, fight early?
I kind of like a good laner against Alchemist, like Timber, Ursa. Like those heroes are very good at dealing with Alchemist in the lane itself. You can kill him. So I would probably lean towards more those two heroes. Timber has a lot of armor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Jackie Ma would probably want to get a Terrorblade mid against Alchemist. Yeah, he likes
Is
that.
that a
man.
rather exclusive case?
Yeah, rather exclusive. I don't think anyone else does it apart from him, because Terrorblade has high base armor, so you're able to tank through the acid harass, and you're able to deny the creeps with Metamorphosis.
Just two for either side left. NewBee next to choose. So
They're taking their time.
Yeah, this is very tense.
There's your
I think the
Timber.
Timber, the Timber is very good versus the illusion clearing as well as the laning versus the Alchemist.
Just mostly the lane. They need a
Yeah.
hero to kill him, in being able to have that potential to pressure and kill him.
or just to keep the Alchemist honest before he just kind of...
Yeah, it's like that's actually a very hard lane for the Alchemist, like because Timbersaw can. There's very few heroes that can just stand there and deal with the acid spray. Timbersaw is one of those, and he puts a lot of pressure on the Alchemist with the Whirling Death spam, and it also complements into their draft too. They have a massive amount of just burst potential with the Luna and Timbersaw.
Basically, right now, what NewBee is a roaming hero, because you have a mid matchup that keeps the Alchemist always at low health, half health. So all it takes is just one spell from someone like Earth Spirit. Like Earth Spirit Warlock is pretty good, and a rolling boulder in, you can easily kill the Alchemist. That's what NewBee wants, and I think on the other side, at Finem, you want heroes that can defend the Alchemist.
So do you think for NewBee they could still maybe do something like an Undying, since they've been playing like it's good with the Batrider, and they can. It's not really like the cleanest movements, but it's good versus
Undying
both.
is okay, but I think I would want to have like a roamer,
Something more,
Earth
something
Spirit,
harder.
yeah. Like for Finem, I know they like Earthshaker though. Like Earthshaker is pretty good at defending like the Alchemist. I've seen that. I think they played a few. Was it like the groups? I think I saw one game. They had a Earthshaker on the support role.
From which team?
From Finem.
They did, yeah. They did that versus OG.
There's Mirana.
Mirana. This
So keeping
probably
it
their
open.
probably their support. SD Mirana and the Nyx on the off lane. I'm not sure if they would want to do this on their carry role.
Could be a way to like defend their Alchemist in a way, because Timbersaw is going to be playing really far up. He's going to be susceptible to the roam potential, but still not the most
easy
damage to kill. Yeah,
not easy
still.
to kill. That's like the main thing I have. I'm not sure. Maybe they are trying to just dual roam the SD and Mirana, because they're going to need more than one hero to kill this Timbersaw. Like we saw Nana's Timbersaw yesterday. What, 4 heroes? Cole had to send 4 heroes to mid to kill him.
It gives them more like mixed damage though as well into like later stages. Even though it's a support, if it does get to that point, he does have like a high burst.
Yeah.
Versus the Luna and the Timbersaw.
Omni Knight is the last band there.
Go for
Weaver, something that fights early.
Something that they can leave alone, so they can really do that dual roaming potential.
They can roam the supports because it's a Weaver. So that might be the plan. They are going to use the supports to, help out the mid lane more.
Yeah. Just leave the Weaver 1v1 versus the Batrider maybe after a decent start.
Hey, you forgot to take off the tag, dude.
And now it's probably more so the fact that they'll go for like something with a disable on their secondary support.
Oh, the Alchemist. Look at that.
Look at this. This is Alchemist City. It's probably a lot of
So yeah,
Sanking support against the Osprey. They seem to like the Sanking on the 4th row a lot, so they're going to roll with the Sanking.
And it's good versus the illusion spam that we were kind of talking about before.
Greedy
and
though.
It is a bit greedy, but it it gives you the lockdown. They don't really have that much without like a golem or the Batrider lasso on top of that. So.
Okay, this is it. It's crunch time.
Yep.
We are going to a third series as expected when these two teams were going to clash. The draft is done, it's locked in, and that means that they're about to load in to their third game of the series. Not a single Chinese team has managed to make it to the quarterfinals yet. Will NewBee be the first, or will Finem go ahead and continue this Cinderella story? From the first in the EU regional qualifiers to perhaps getting to the quarterfinals. We'll find out as their biggest event does continue, or will NewBee stop it? Find out with your casters as once again Cap and Malini are standing by.
Everyone knew that Finem versus NewBee would be one hell of a match, and we are indeed going to get a Game 3, where this time around, Finem are going to place their hopes on one big carry. It's going to be Thug's Alchemist rather than Madara this time around. Can Finem actually persevere through a little bit of versatility there, banking on an Alchemist pick like that?
Especially with the Shadow Demon, I think Alchemist has just been so difficult to deal with. I think when NewBee saw that in the draft, it's like, oh man,
they definitely got to be a little bit of a slump, just like, oh god, we have to deal with an Alchemist on the main stage in a third game in an elimination match on top of everything else. Finem, quite the upstarts, but NewBee still have a very good team fight lineup, and they have some good counters to the Alchemist as well. Most notably, SC's Timbersaw is going to be one to look out for in his play in the middle lane. He is already a bit countered by the Nyx Assassin that was already in Finem's hand. For Skylark, they have that against both a Batrider and a Timbersaw, but he's going to need a much better performance than some of the initiations we saw in Game 2, because they are going to have a much harder time creating space for Thug than Madara had on that Morphling, right? He got a free lane. He had like a free game for the first 15 minutes.
Yep, that's where the Shadow Demon Mirana comes in, and they're already looking to get a surprise first blood on the bottom lane. Madara, he's kind of feigning that he's down there alone, and generally, you want to contest first Alchemist, but they have no idea where the other 4 are. And with Mirana in the game, it's very easy to concede a first blood. So KP will scout it out and just immediately bounce. And yeah, you have to give Alk a bounty rune, but that's better than giving him first blood.
Yeah, it certainly is. He will quickly pick up the beginning of his Iron Talon and a little bit of helping hand with that healing sound. This is something different, though. Finem are going to go for a smoke straight off the bat as they pick up that bounty rune. Nyx Assassin, the Shadow Demon, and the Mirana are going to be heading up to top lane. They're going to try and give Skylark a nice, easy start to his lane, which is normally quite tough against both a Warlock and a Luna. They're lining things up right now, letting Spartan be the leading initiator, and they're wrapping around behind Faith. Faith is going to be the one caught. Disruption leading into an Impale, leading into an Arrow, and that'll be the easiest first blood of Finem's life here at the mid stage.
And an important one for them, as they need to set the pace for the game for the Alchemist. And one thing that was not touched upon is that Kaka is on the Batrider, and Kaka is a support player, so he is going to he was napalming mid. I was like, what is he doing over there? But he's support. They switched it up in the last minute, throwing KP on the Sand King. And he gets arrowed yet again.
No need for a disruption here. Kaka, who leveled up Sticky Napalm to try and harass that Alchemist in the mid lane, is in serious trouble. Maybe next time, trying to body block him. They'll also have the disruption into the Impale once again. Finem's teamwork looking spot on here.
And he doesn't even knock off the clarity.
2-0. The Alchemist may be feeling the pressure of SC's Timbersaw and a little bit of help from that Batrider, but this aggro tri-lane situation is certainly working out for Finem. Skylark's going to have quite the early level 2. Skylark running into U9 here. They're going to try and back themselves away. Spartan, he's going to be able to get the disruption. Skylark just tries to get out, it looks like. And Kaka's actually stuck here. The disruption blocking him in, but doesn't really matter. More importantly, done. That was a courier pickoff. Maybe next time. You thought just because he wasn't on a bounty hunter, you thought he wasn't going to pick off couriers? No.
They don't have a good way to catch him. There's like no disruptor to bring him back. Like neither of their supports have disable, silences, nothing. So maybe next time can just run wherever he wants. He was just there arrowing the large troll camp, just making sure that there's no stack coming out from the Batrider. And support Batrider is tough, especially when they're all up in your jungle.
Yeah.
I've seen jungle Batriders before, but support is another beast.
Oh, maybe next time. What are you doing? Lines up on that arrow, surprise in the trees, but SC, the soldier, ever vigilant, manages to just barely sidestep that arrow.
Skylark was taking a lot of damage on the top lane, but it's okay. Pop a branch.
So was KP. Look at this guy. Without a courier, he's in that awkward situation where he wants to be able to stay in lane because it's a 1v1. He doesn't want to leave out any experience, but he is also has no backup when it comes to regen. He's finally going to decide to suicided neutrals, it looks like. But this does leave Madara a free lane, something that, mid, Thug dropping a bit low, but SC, without having level 6, really doesn't have solo kill potential against an Alchemist.
Timber is crushing him in CS. Almost double Alchemist right now, and that's with the early bounty rune going his way. And Timbersaw just a very, very great matchup, and SCCC very skilled in that mid lane. Dire has used scan. They did sense it out, but the arrow is spot on.
SC going to be blocked up. He does have high levels of reactive armor right now. They're going to leap and try and get that extra bit of damage, just not enough.
Yeah, one downside about having the disruption is that you have the illusions. If you wanted them to attack, you're popping reactive armor stacks on the Timbersaw, and that's a gank that they really wanted to work out over here.
Skylark, thanks to the space of the two supports, is doing pretty well for himself. He is actually going to man up against Faith, manages to catch the creep wave in the process, and he's actually going to pull it into this hard camp knowingly. That does put him in a spot when it comes to those fatal bonds, and he'll actually miss one of those last hits. But in the end, this will be a lane that pushes forward, and Skylark will be able to get what's seemingly a fast level 6. Rana's coming over. They actually lay down this. I really like this ward here for NewBee. It's spotting out maybe next time's movements around the map. This will give SC an idea that there's probably another arrow coming his way, or maybe just a neutral.
And Kaka's really deep in the Radiant jungle. Maybe part of his job is to stop the stacking. Kaka, is he going to spot out? Nope.
Spartan's going to be caught. Burrow strike into all this sticky napalm. Spartan really doesn't stand a snowball's chance in hell, not with all this fire around. NewBee finally get themselves on the board here, 2-1.
Yeah, and Kaka does have an observer ward over here, so this can give them more control of the Radiant jungle because of how deeply Advenom's invading their own. They need more places to farm on NewBee. You want the Batrider takes up a decent amount of space if you actually want him to get items.
Right.
And right now he's just stacking, he's not stacking, he's just scouting out the Alchemist and trying to steal his stacks possibly. So that's kind of a cool, unique ability that the Batrider can do, is steal opponent stacks, which is definitely something that we're going to be seeing this game.
Thug was trying to pick up his level 6 off the jungle, but with Kaka in range, he sapped some of that experience, and Thug is really feeling the pressure of SC now, especially now that SC has his level 6. The Chakram is up. This does give him kill potential against Thug. But Thug will also have his level 6, it seems, with this creep wave. No opportunity to be found for NewBee just yet.
Yeah, maybe next time just trying to figure out where this Batrider is and getting some stacks up for Alk. And Alk also, in the meantime, getting top rune. Will it be bounty? Nope, just a haste rune for him. He will stack up the Ancients in the meantime.
Bit unlucky, but we'll see whether or not that haste rune comes in play for him. Maybe it'll save his life against an incoming gank from NewBee. They are freely farming on U9, but so is Madara. He's got 35 and 10 compared to the Sand Kings 18 and 0. KP has given himself a solo lane where he's got free experience, but he's not able to keep up when it comes to levels.
Arrow, will it
arrow?
connect?
No. Just a bit too late.
Yeah, he was a little bit too far behind. He'd probably have to leap, and even if he leapt, I don't think that he would have been able to get that kill.
Yeah.
It's very hard to kill this Batrider when he's in the trees.
Still, though, how is this Batrider going to be effective? He's level 3, 6.5 minutes in. It doesn't seem like they're going to really be able to rely on stacks. What do you think NewBee's idea is to be able to give him at least some semblance of farm?
Well, maybe they swapped into the support role because they realize that, okay, it's going to be kind of countered by the next assassin. They want to fight much earlier because you need to shut down Alchemist very, very early on. So now he's playing... Kaka is known for playing like the Bounty Hunter Riki, so now he's just getting a lot of intel around the map, just dropping observer rewards, kind of playing deep onto Advenom's side, just like the two supports were in the early game. So they're not playing him for lasers. They're not playing him for napalm stacks. It's just to be annoying, get some kills around the map, and just be ever so elusive with the Firefly up cliffs.
He's certainly forcing rotations here at Finem, double TP in. One of them, though, is Skylark. He's level 6. U9 is actually pushing out his lane, so they should have free info about the Nyx Assassin moving around the map at this point in time.
I don't know if they have enough damage. He has a fair amount of armor, so the Vendetta and plus the Swarm, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Lead with Vendetta, or maybe an Impale does catch him during the Sandstorm, but will be enough. He has a Burrow Strike. That's why Skylark puts himself forward with the Spike Carapace. KP will go farther down the river, but he tries to go for a TP out. It's just not going to happen, though. Both an arrow, a disruption, and all the right-click damage you could ask for. Comes down from that Finem for third kill.
Yeah, that was a tough gank for KP in this game. Like, even if he had burrowed up the cliff and then tried to TP, he still had to swarm on him. So there's very little chance of him being able to TP out with full vision into an arrow. And maybe next time, probably trying to get lucky with a courier kill as he heads up to the Dire Secret Shop, but there's no courier to be spotted.
Still, though, all those rotations do give NewBee a free chance to push down a tier 1 tower. Luna safely farming in lane is not just at 52 and 9 when it comes to CS, but is also able to pick up a tower last hit as well.
So they need Warlock 6 before they can actually start pushing towers together as 5, and Sand King is a long way away from Blink Dagger, as is the Batrider, but it looks like they're going to try and prioritize the Batrider, or at least he's going to be stacking for one of the two, as they try and look for ways to perhaps force engagements while Alchemist is off farming.
So do you think that NewBee actually go for these pushes with the Warlock ultimate, or do you think they have to wait for one of those Blink Daggers first?
I think they can go with the Warlock ultimate. Like, Weaver is kind of Mirana SD is very good at getting kills, but poor in an actual team fight. Nyx Assassin is the only one that they're worried about, but with Timbersaw being super farmed and Warlock and Fatal Bonds and Eclipse, I think that's enough to take a team fight, especially with no BKBs and no items really. If the Alchemist joins a fight, though, then they could actually be in a little bit of trouble. Like, if he's stalling with the acid spray, they don't have that great of sustain, nor do they have that much armor to really counter it, and no signs of an early mech from NewBee. So I think it all depends on whether or not, like, the Alchemist is around there. They can't push the Alchemist lane.
Yeah, it is quite dangerous to try and continue to just separate and farm up those Blink Daggers, because this just gives Skylark more opportunity for potential picks on this Nyx Assassin. Now, he just spent a majority of his Vendetta in bottom lane, didn't actually get an opportunity for a kill there, but now he's going to rotate over and try and catch SC. SC trying to contest the rune, but Thug will manage to pick up an Arcane, and Arrow nails him from behind, and they're going to be able to combo up these stuns quite nicely. SC not going to be able to make it out of here. Spartan's going to be able to get the extra kill, looks like. They don't have a stun up. Impale is down, but the Spike Carapace will hold Kaka there for a moment, but really, once he's into the cliff, it's very hard for these heroes to be able to catch Kaka.
And they just all got Fatal Bonded and had to be very careful about that. Kaka, his Firefly is right about to run out. He can pop an Impale, but no follow-up.
Man, with this support Mirana, it's just so hard for them to actually utilize the jungle efficiently. They maybe next time just keeps on making these entrances, takes away the big creep out of some of these hard camps, and NewBee are left a whole lot less effective with heroes like the Sand King and Batrider, who are known for being able to have some jungling prowess.
And surprisingly, no tome up yet for NewBee. It's been a minute since it spawned, yet looks like Warlock is trying to do it the hard way by just sitting in lane.
Yeah, they're going for...
There's a smoke.
They're pushing bottom lane, and they're also going to smoke up with 2 members of NewBee. Actually, 3 members. This puts a lot off map.
And this
is so obvious to Ad Finem. So many members of Ad Finem off map, and a Luna pushing in bottom. They realize the rotation is coming in from mid lane to bottom lane, and it looks like no one is really going to be caught here. Madara kind of showing himself, but he's got the Shikuchi. He can afford to play a bit of a dangerous game there with the NewBee cores. Backs himself away. NewBee are still going to go for that push, but Skylark's already in position. He's got the creep wave. He's soloing it up, so they may actually be able to make a trade-off here while still keeping efficiency on map.
And Madara, he's walked into a ward.
That is too much of a dangerous game, my friend. He's just going to get bursted down. Thought he could rely on the time lapse, but 1 stun and 1 sentry is all that's needed to be able to bring him low. The TP out from KP as he's actually going to try and contest this tier 1 tower, at least try and go for the deny. Skylark does manage to take it, thanks in part to the Spike Carapace. KP waits it out though, does manage to get the stun, but the epicenter is going to be hard to track as Skylark gets himself out of the way with a Vendetta. Now he's actually still trying to set up on KP because from the himself, Spartan, is going to try and cut KP off. KP doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with, no magic stick charges. If Spartan can just hit the Purge, I think this is going to be enough. KP already brought low. One nuke is all it should take. Couple of right clicks and the Purge can easily finish him off. The TP in from the Luna will not be able to save him. Can't even get any damage out in the Skylark as he blocks it all back with another beautifully timed Spike Carapace.
They almost could have killed the Luna right there if they had set up a disruption into an arrow on him, and maybe it looks like that's what they're aiming for. They don't have vision of her as she goes to the right side of the map. They don't have a ward up onto that side, but with the trees cut down, is he going to get caught?
They do have the Eclipse, but he doesn't get it off in time. Now they're going to be able to combo stuns up. No, he actually sidesteps the arrow. He can actually turn with the Warlock dropping the Chaotic Offering. They're going to be able to blow up the Shadow Demon. It seems like catch the Nyx Assassin as well. He turns for an Impale, but it doesn't matter. Run down by NewBee's heroes as they bait out U9.
Perfect use of the Warlock ultimate, and Luna kind of hesitated on whether or not she should have popped an Eclipse, but no fear, NewBee's team was back there behind her, and wasting not 1 second, they smoke up, immediately head over to the Radiant Ancients and hope to look for a low HP Alchemist. He's at 1,200 gold with a Relic card.
Oh, and his Chemical Rage, it's just about to fall. So he's in serious trouble, not just close to the Radiance, but also at his ultimately exposed area. Gonna be caught here by the, they're gonna be able to catch him, but the Disruption goes down first. The lasso and its damage is gonna be a bit ineffective. Mirana tries to put a stop to it, but ultimately they do manage to get that kill. Can they catch anybody in the process though? A TP's coming in from the Nyx Assassin, trying to put himself in front of the Bat Rider with a Spike Carapace, and he will manage to at least catch one, but that is still slowing down the Radiance, and they only traded what is a support Bat Rider.
He managed to pick up the Radiance recipe before he died, so
he did.
Not the worst trade in the world, but NewBee still coming out. Good 600 gold ahead.
NewBee know they have to keep up the pace when it comes to this tempo of ganks. They need to constantly put pressure on this Alchemist, otherwise they're going to be on the losing side of a split push war.
And it looks like Spartan will be able to get these 2 D wards, so important as the Radiant really needs to farm those Ancients up. It's just really important for the Alchemist. Even the Weaver can help a lot with the Swarm, but now that there's no creeps there, and NewBee probably taking a look at their economic game. They use a lot of smokes, hasn't yielded the most kills, and both their Blink Dagger wielders are not even
KP
halfway
nailed
there.
him. Maybe next time with a beautiful rotation to bottom lane. Read KP's rotations beautifully, but oh my god, he just burrow struck into the trees. They're going to be able to come in with the Eclipse, blows up maybe next time, and they actually survive on KP and get a counter kill.
That's a huge play from KP right there. And a little bit late on the dust. I don't think the Shikuchi damage hit the Sand King as he was running away to the north side. And that would have halted most of the blink progression. And now it looks like NewBee will follow that up with another tower.
NewBee, they've taken all the important objectives here. If they can actually translate this into not just a tier 2 tower kill, but also start putting pressure on mid, the Alchemist is going to be struggling to find space to farm.
He's walking into a trap. Madara walks into the center.
Oh, but he runs right back out. Lasso not going to be in there in time. He uses time lapse just in case. He goes right back through them again, taunting them to chase him down because he has the help of the rest of his team this time around. Finem going to come forward. They missed one stun. U9 thought he could TP out, thinks better of it. His arrow slides on by. Now he has to turn and fight, but he knows he's dead. The Purge just keeps him from escaping. They managed to catch Kaka there with the Spike Carapace, slowing down his retreat. Madara does have view of him. Another Spike Carapace is coming up. Skylark gets him once again. The Impale will put a stop to that TP. And 8-6 now is the score as Finem do manage to hold that tier 2 tower.
That was just not the real good fight that they were looking for. So KP, and they think the stun duration is long enough, but it wasn't a max duration, and the dust comes out. He doesn't hit with the Shikuchi damage, and he blinks into an impossible area for them to scout, unless you leap right on top of them or they have a swarm. That's another thing. The dust came out late, so the swarm wasn't able to stick on top of the Sand King.
8-6, 16.5 minutes in, a 4,000 gold lead for Finem, 2,000 experience. KP going to be caught by another arrow from maybe next time. This time around, he preemptively does. He does not want to let KP escape again. He tries to put him on this cliff, doesn't quite make it, but the TP, he won't get out in time. A disruption stops him, and KP will fall 9-6 now.
And his current gold right before that, 1850.
Oh man, he gets knocked down to 1,500, and he's out of the game for 40 seconds. This Blink Dagger is just not going to be coming up anytime soon, and neither will the Bat Riders. He's only sitting at 1,300. And this is really necessary. They need that hard initiation for NewBee to feel confident pushing the last remaining of these objectives, right? The Tier 1 and Tier 2 is really what helps the Alchemists maintain security around these farming areas, these two neutral camps, as well as this ancient area.
And even despite those two heroes not really close to their Blink Dagger, NewBee, they do have the Midas on the Warlock. Face's been a little bit quiet, but only one death. That's a pretty good sign for him and involved in a decent amount of kills. So even if they don't have the Blink Daggers up and early and maybe 4 steps later, they probably will have the Ags Warlock later to help them out in their late game situation.
Yeah, it looks like U9 is planning on spending a lot of time farming against this Alchemist. He goes ahead and picks up the Helmet Dominator. They're going to try and keep control of their own ancient camp and utilize it against the Alchemist. They can't keep pace, obviously, but they can at least keep within striking distance of Madara's net worth. Sitting AK. Oh, the arrow going to come out. Maybe next time. How does he keep on landing these? Skylark holds on to the spike carapace until he was in the perfect spot, too, just in case. But really, maybe next time. Didn't need that extra backup. He's able to land these arrows all by himself, it seems.
And Alchemist bottles another bounty rune. And right now, it's just an economic war.
Yeah.
Can these guys get their Blink Daggers and kill some of Ad Finum's heroes so that the Alchemist is the only problem that they have to worry about? Right now is like the Nixus has had Blink Dagger for quite some time now. They still have to buy a lot of Sentry Wars, a lot of Reveal so that they can see this Weaver and perhaps see the Nixus Assassin as he's Vendetta around the map. But I mean, Faith is kind of the only one farming that well of the 3 that you kind of are worried about in this game.
Maybe this is why U9 did pick up that Helmet Dominator. Maybe he thinks these Blink Daggers are just not going to come fast enough. They're not going to be able to maintain map control fast enough. And Alchemist will ultimately win out first. When it comes to this economic game, he'll be able to have that Manta before NewBee can end it. They are going to be able to do a 4-man smoke wrap around here. The 2 supports in mid lane, they are going to be the victims, or at least one of them here. Spartan on the Shadow Demon buys himself a momentary reprieve, but the disruption ultimately will not pay. Tier 1 tower is going to fall because of that, and Finem will gladly give it up, though. It looks like they have enough space for the taking. Madara is pushing out the top lane, and Thug is trying to get that bottom lane pushed out while NewBee pushed to Tier 2.
The Blink Dagger reveal does yield them a T1, but not sure if that's enough. And Alchemist, in the meantime, is still just off farming like a madman. And the push will be slowed down because of the swarm.
Yeah, and how do you actually stop Madara when he shows himself like this? If they go ahead and use this fresh Blink Dagger from KP to Burrow Strike, it just gets blocked out by the Lincolns. So, the Raze Creep dies just in time, and U9 is actually set up underneath this Tier 1 tower. SC pushes back at Finem, making sure they can't do much with that Moonlight Shadow.
Maybe next time walks under the Sentry Ward. They don't have vision on them yet, but they perhaps see that all of Ad Finem are on the south side.
And the Manta's up. Illusions start coming out. Both Disruption as well as Manta Illusions. The Radiance Burn, it seems like, is going to be enough to keep their Tier 2 safe. NewBee are going to be pushed back. They need to find pickoffs from here on out before they go for these full-out pushes. Bounty Rune going to be jumped, but it may cost KP his life. He gets stunned up, but he also Burrow Strikes out. Gets a little bit of distance away from Madara. He's going to be chased down. He doesn't have Burrow Strike, no Sandstorm, nothing. He is going to be chased down underneath this Tier 1 tower. Time lapse, and Madara. Hit and run for him, getting the 11th kill for Ad Finem.
Now they're really desperate when it comes to the gold. Their HOD creep just got arrowed, and they're about to lose this T1 tower, which doesn't leave the Ancients really safe for U9 to take anymore. They need to create gold out of nowhere, which is kind of what the stacking from the HOD does, but if they can't take that out, and then they still need the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider, and then you also need the Timber and the Luna to absorb a lot of the creeps. I just see them falling further and further behind. They need more picks, as you mentioned, with 2 or 3 while the others are farming.
The Blink Dagger just picked up for Kaka. Is going to be enough for him to blink away? Yes, it is. Skylark, if he was there a second or 2 earlier, they could have even stopped that Blink Dagger from being purchased by Kaka. But as it is, NewBee have both their initiating items. Will it be enough, though?
They're out of smokes. This Observer Ward spots at least the Sand King out, and Ad Finem are way out of there. And now, Ad Finem, all they really want to do is let NewBee push into them. If they're pushing into them, they're together as 5. They waste their time because of the constant barrage of Alchemist illusions. And if they don't push as 5, they'll just get out farmed. So maybe NewBee should tend towards that Dire Ancient area. That Dire Ancient area is where they will make their money, as well as perhaps taking Roshan. I think their team fight is still way stronger. Batrider with the Blink Dagger is very strong. Alchemist Illusions, I don't think they actually pinged it out, but with that drawn by, maybe next time it looks like they are well aware that a smoke is coming. Just not which direction. Skylark will pop the smoke.
They do have dust. Batrider runs the wrong direction, blinks onto a spike carapace, not able to catch Skylark just yet. They bounce him forward instead of backwards. He gets an impale off. The dust is wearing low, and they will manage to catch him, but they're in a nasty position. They're inside the secret shop. They're going to try and play the high ground here. The jump forward. Madara is going to be caught by the chaotic offering, but does manage to time-lapse it off. They also jump forward onto Spartan, but the Batrider's already down. Eclipse moving forward, does manage to clean up Spartan. Maybe next time leaves himself barely out of it, but the Luna is almost down. He gets burned out by the Radiance, and Madara searches for more. The Sankey and the Timbersaw, they might have gotten maybe next time, but they are dropped dangerously low. Alchemist is going to be able to come in, hits him with the concoction. That's a Timbersaw dead. A big kill for Finem as they pick up their 4th kill in exchange for their 2 supports in an offlane.
What a slick play from Thug right there. He BOT'd. He wasn't that close to the Timbersaw, so he casted Unstable Concoction, BOT'd on a creep that was already moving towards the Timbersaw and just bursted him down right as he was on top of them. And the Alchemist Illusions are just a little bit too much to handle. They had to blow so much to take the Nick Assassin, but they were in a very compromising position, all clumped up to the north side of the Ancients. And Alchemists and Weaver thrive in that sort of environment when you're choked up. And Weaver got a decent amount of swarms on this. So Lasso comes out, there's just bugs everywhere, and they're already at low armor from the acid spray, combining that with a swarm, and Madara is free to clean up. U9, he's at the bottom. He can't really do that much damage with Eclipse because of his positioning, and this BOT play from maybe next time, or from Thug, as they're trying to chase down SECC was pretty big.
I mean, the fact that Skylark bought so much time there, and it put NewBee in such an aggressive position. They were just begging to slowly be chipped away by the damage over time. Thug, you could see the way that he kind of played the outer edges of that team fight, burning away at NewBee with that Radiance as he does so now, revealing 5 members right next to the Roshan pit. Quick denying that bounty rune, denying it away from Thug.
They need this area. If they lose this area, they'll lose the game. And look at the net worth graph. He's 22,000 versus the 10,000 of the Timbersaw and the Luna. So, like, them two combined is still less than the Alchemist. And there are axe carriers in this game. Nyx Assassin, very good. Weaver, if you want to make the Alchemist even stronger, like Mirana can transition into a core, although she's building a scepter herself. So, like, they still have a lot of room to grow. And NewBee,
he wasn't careful enough. SC, no vigilance here. KP is going to be caught as well by the impale. He tried to blink in and get a bro strike off, but Skylark strikes first. This offlaner beginning to shine now for Finem. They're going to be able to run down some extra heroes. Poor Faith, he knows that he's done for. He sees Thug big and bad. Running forward on the Alchemist, claims that double kill. And presumably Finem will be able to get an objective out of this as well. It's going to be Roshan. What they're going to be attempting here. NewBee, without their big team fight ultimates of both the Epicenter and Chaotic offerings, seem unlikely to be able to contest this, particularly with the heavy damage of Finem. They try and come in, and he's just not going to be there in time for a Chakram. The Roshan will go down, and an Aegis picked up by the Alchemist. Now they're actually trying to turn. Skylark does stun up Kaka. They almost finish him off. They need a little bit more burn damage to make Kaka's sacrifice worth it. SC's going to be chased down by Madara at the same time. They disruption. Thug going to be pulled up on the cliff, but he does bounce back down over to Madara as he's still trying to chase down SC. KP thought about an Epicenter, started charging up. He cancels instead, opting for the stun, and that is going to be able to get the kill on Madara without the ultimate.
Finem a little bit reckless as they move in, probably really happy about getting yet another chicken kill, but going in way too deep without the help of the Alchemist. Alchemist does not have the mobility that the Weaver has. Not that much increased move speed, no Blink Dagger, no Shadow Blade, no anything to go to where the Weaver was, all the way to the T2 tower. And they were already preoccupied killing the bat.
Yeah, and SC, he does have quite a large amount of armor to contend with that Desolator of Madara's. He's got both the reactive armor as well as the just plain plate mail.
Yep. Now he's going for the BKB, and the only damage they have through BKB is Luna, and Luna is still very underfarmed. Does not have a BKB of her own. There's a Manta style, but I mean, Alchemist is just huge. He can easily just right-click those a couple of times, and they will all die. And there seems to be a lot more damage coming out from Finem as maybe next time closes in on the last component of his axe.
I was just about to talk about, like, he's got
There's
the
another
Aegis,
axe.
he's got the 6 items, so he, U9, he's going to be caught here. Beautiful setup here by Skylark, and maybe next time. They're trying to force out something, force rotations, but they don't fully commit to that kill on the Luna. They back themselves away. Ad Finem are actually going to back up.
That's a lot of discipline.
And
You
go
can,
back
you
in.
can tell that they really want to win this.
Yeah,
like normally you're just like, we'll go for it, even if we die worth, right? Because Luna. But
Yeah.
you know, they know that they don't want to concede any other kills. At least give someone the Ags before. And who did he?
Oh, the
get
arrow
that?
nailed him. He caught him on the right side of the map. Batrider thought he was going to be in position for a Firefly, but it's going to be Ad Finem who catch him first. The smoke rotation of Ad Finem works out. They're going to be able to push into this tier 2 tower now, as it's going to be NewBee scrambling along the outer edges of the map looking for a split push.
I think the Ags is going to be complete. They can just give it to the next assassin and just park it up on the top side of the kill. And what can they really do? So let's see. Thug.
Is it
Ags.
Madara?
Oh,
It's
you gave it to
Madara.
Madara. Okay.
Yeah. Madara's going to be able to have that time lapse, which is in some ways even better, right? Because now they can park Thug up on the high ground. He has Aegis, and even if they eat through that, there's going to be a time lapse coming in as well.
And defensive disruption. So that's like pretty much 4 lives for Alchemist.
Dominant position for Ad Finem as they go high ground here. Thug is going to be forced out deeper into the base, slowed down a bit. They do still have that chaotic offering to be dropped, but
God,
Thug is making
these
it so hard for
illusions.
Faith. He's already down to half HP. And that tier 3 about to fall. These illusions just will not stop. They keep on battering into these heroes. Faith is knocked all the way back to the fountain here, as now they're beginning to beat on the melee Rex. With the help of Madara, they're going to be able to go on to SC. SC drop low. KP trying to interrupt, though, with the Burrow Strike. Will allow SC to retreat, but now it's 4 members of NewBee ready to fight, while SC is going to regen up. This means their melee Rex is going to be forfeited.
They can't
as
even kill
Ad
the
Finem-
illusions.
They can't. They're just way too big.
That's depressing. That's really depressing. All the supports just have to run away, and that was just the disruption illusions, let alone the Manta illusions, let alone the rest of Ad Finem's heroes. So there was just very little chance of them actually killing the Alchemist, and there's still a minute left on this Aegis, and they have creeps in the mid lane, so don't even have to worry about backdoor protection.
Madara heading back for his BKB and uses time lapse. Come right back, beating on this tier 2 tower. Ad Finem still
Arrow
have that
nails
Aegis. Oh,
Faith.
no way. Are they going to go for it? No, they're just going to let the illusions do their work. Maybe they can force Faith back to the fountain once again.
They need a big combo. Sand King, Epicenter into Fatal Bonds, Warlock. That's pretty much all they can do. There is still no BKB on the Alchemist, nor...
Jump forward, there's their initiation. Immediately stops. Skylark in place with the Spike Carapace. They try and drop the Chaotic Offering, catching multiple heroes here, but Thug is right in the middle of so these heroes, and they're dropping low. Thug, he's hit by the Eclipse, brought down as SC gets the jump onto him, but still, Madara comes forward with his BKB. He's already cleaned up Faith, and Thug, this is round 2 with him.
Yep.
He's got his ultimate ready to go. They've got time lapse as well. Madara's just sitting in the back, ready to go. If they jump on Thug, this time around, they don't have their big ults.
That was everything that they had. I don't think NewBee have what it takes to fend off this just over-farmed Alchemist.
Skylark jumping forward, does manage to catch U9. They're going to combo stun him. KP just can't do anything about it. His Blink Dagger constantly stopped by Thug's illusion. They're going to buy back on U9. But KP is so low and struggling to be able to find space to be able to charge up an Epicenter and find a Blink. So at Finem, they see the melee Rax is down, a buyback force. They back themselves away in a domineering position.
And NewBee, what do they have left to do at this point? I'm trying to think of ways they can get back in the game. They've already lost 2 melee racks, and there's still plenty of Ags left to be given on the Alchemist. So looking at this, they're trying to set up for a big combo over here as KP tries to follow up with a rock. But look at that 3-man stun coming out from Skylark, and Thug is at the front. Madara has used time-lapse early, so he can't use it on Thug right before he pops the Aegis, but no one died during that ultimate.
Spartan going crazy in the booth. He knows Ad Finem are just moments away from being able to claim this Game 3 in a single elimination against one of the toughest teams out there,
So
NewBee.
maybe a base race might be their best option. Luna is actually really good at sieging the T4s.
NewBee need to do something a little bit crazy. They start pushing into that tier 2, but they're
I think
begging to back
crazy
up.
is the best choice that they have right now.
I mean, they're actually trying to run the Luna all the way back here. He doesn't actually have a TP scroll. NewBee are trying to push back on the Alchemist, slow him down at the bare minimum. until Luna comes in from behind with that Eclipse.
Faith might die on the right side to these
Jesus,
illusions.
these illusions just will not stop. Faith is dead. Between the combination of bugs and the illusions burned, now U9's going to be targeted. He doesn't have a BKB, so he's going to be whomped on by all these heroes. Bounce back by the jump. KP comes forward. He does manage to catch by Madara, but it doesn't matter. NewBee, they are so ineffective. They can't stop Finem. Finem going crazy inside the booth, cheering, yelling in one unified voice. This is Sparta. This is Finem on the main stage, taking down NewBee.
A standing ovation from the crowd as they top NewBee 2-1 off the back of some very nice bounty hunter play and an alchemist in game number 3.